Yateshata Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to today's class. So yesterday we discussed from chapter 6 and chapter 7. So basically we were discussing that how Lord Rishabhadeva departed from this world, taking along with him all the living entities in the forest. And the chapter at the end, Sukadeva Goswami conclude that whatever teachings Rishabhadeva taught, whatever example he has set, the Jnanis in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga can follow, and hence they can attain perfection quickly. Because since their lifespans are very long, if at all they want to go back to God quickly, they can take the help of this process and go back to God immediately. Huge austerities in short time, severe austerities in small time, so they can go back. But in Kali Yuga, one cannot understand with what consciousness one should practice these austerities. One simply imitates the activities of Rishabhadeva externally. That's why it is not recommended to imitate Lord Rishabhadeva in Kali Yuga. Why? Sukadeva Goswami also gives example that in the future, near future, at one point of time when Dharma is declining, a person known as Arhat will also hear about the activities of Lord Rishabhadeva which happened in the South India province, and he imitates and creates a system of religion which is rejecting Shastra, which is against the descriptions of Shastra. So he also gives an example having mentioned it. So that's why we should be careful what to follow, what not to follow. And we also mentioned that our Rupa Goswami Acharya has mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita says that though Lord appears in all unlimited avatars, but 3 avatars, by hearing their activities, we get inspiration. But we don't follow their philosophy. One is Lord Buddha, second one is Lord Dattatreya, third one is Lord Rishabhadeva. So, remaining all avatars we can see somewhere or the other in India, traditional temples are there. Lord Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Dhanvantari also everywhere is there. Mohini Murti, and Narasimha, Rama, Krishna, Haigriva, everyone is there. Here, there. But not, we don't see anywhere the deities of. Dattatreya is so good. No, Dattatreya is worshipped within Maharashtra province according to the local custom. But none of the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas have Dattatreya deity. They will have dioramas. Buddha's diorama also we have among the 10 avatars. Rishabhadeva's diorama also might be there somewhere, but not an installed deity. So, okay. You had some question? We'll continue with chapter 8. So, as I mentioned, there are 3 chapters talks about Bharata Maharaj. 1 chapter talks about him as the king. 2nd chapter talks about him as the deer. 3rd chapter talks about him as a Brahmana Bharata. So, then the teachings to Rahugana will start in the subsequent chapters. The 8th chapter describes how Bharata raised a fawn and meditating on it attained the body of a deer in his next life. In the previous canto, there was a similar pastime. Puranjana, meditating upon the wife with the combination of all the sense objects, eventually became the daughter of king of Vidarbha. But she got married to Malayadwaja, who represents best of devotees. By serving her husband, she attained Sukruti in your terms. So eventually, she had the good fortune of association with Paramatma, that Brahmana in the forest. So Paramatma reveals her who she is, what she is supposed to do, and eventually understanding that, she will go back home back to Godhead. That is what is mentioned. So the science of reincarnation is also mentioned in the previous canto, and this canto also talks about that. What happens when we do something differently at the time of death, how it leads to the next birth, special details of the next birth. This little bigger chapter, we will see the entire chapter today. Hopefully, Krishna will. Lord Krishna, a notion of cleverness, protected this deer who was previously Bharata to show that compassion, if it is an obstacle to bhakti, must be given up. This entire pastime is enacted in such a way to show us that compassion in general it is very good. But when compassion becomes an obstacle to one's spiritual progress, one should give up. Even though it is compassion, it is one of the pious and good quality. When it is becoming an obstacle to one's progress of bhakti, one should give it up.
Okay. This is not with respect to the compassion of
Quick.
the ISKCON or what we are doing.
Quick. Huh?
Is it with respect to that, or is it like mundane?
Any compassion, if it is done more than required, one is doomed. There are many examples our Radha Gopal Guru talks about. So generally, brahmacharis, as they grow further, many devotees take shelter of the brahmacharis to get counseling. Sometimes, especially when the so one should be careful. In any case, compassion is very good, but if it goes beyond boundary, will be needs to be yes. So Lord Krishna, an ocean of cleverness, okay, protected this deer who was previously Bharata to show that compassion, if it is an obstacle to bhakti, must be given up. The Lord shows his affection for his devotee by protecting Bharata in the form of a deer, so that he would fall into the ocean of remorse in order to drown in the ocean of prema. Bharata, yesterday we saw he was exhibiting the symptoms of Bhava. And he's telling Bhava symptoms, go away, don't disturb me. I want to serve. So he intentionally is taking many baths every day. His body is always wet. Just like Jagannath's hand is always wet. So his hair also always wet. So, but something happened because of which he had to become deer. But Lord protected him. Even though he became deer, he did not forget his past life. Initially, he felt remorse. I was a what? I was came to forest to perform bhakti. What happened to me? I become a deer. Then eventually, he drowned in the ocean of prema. Initially, out of remorse, he began to practice bhakti very sincerely, even in the body of a deer, very austerely, very sincerely. And even the deer, he was experiencing prema. So like that. Welcome to the realities. One day, having performed his daily rites, birth march, his bodily needs, and taken bath. Matlab he got up, attended nature calls, took bath, performed Achaman, Argya, Surya Namaskar, etc. etc. He was sitting on the bank of the river, chanting Krishna mantras. Brahmaksharam Abhigranano. He was chanting Brahmaksharam. Our acharyas have said Krishna mantras. Outside people might say something else, Om and all. But in any case, okay. In any case, whether chanting Om or chanting Hare Krishna mantra, chanting Om Namo Narayana or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sri Krishna Charanamama, whatever. Everything is direct unto him only. For 3 muhurtas, muhurta trayam. One muhurta is 48 minutes. Take it for 45 minutes. 45 plus 45?
90.
1.5 hour. Plus 45? 2 hours?
15 minutes.
That is our chanting time. We also need approximately around 2 hours to complete the chanting. 16 rounds. If you do continuously, with a 15 minutes break for breakfast in between. So he is chanting on his beats 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mantra, which will take about 3 muhurtas. In between dose of, it will take more time also. If you are attentive, 3 muhurta it will take. And if you take the shelter of radar japa, you can complete into 1.5 hours only sometimes. Radar japa pata hai kya? Huh? Radar japa. The mouth will say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The eyes and the mind see all directions. If not 360 degrees, at least 100 degrees, it keeps scanning what's happening around. But mouth is very fast. Like bullets are shooted from the machine gun like that. Fast, fast, fast. Ho jata hai. That is radar japa. So it's like that. But he is very quiet and calm. The place is also very serene. No disturbance is there. In the Himalayas, on the bank of Gandaki, got up, attended nature calls, took bath, and did morning argya, Surya Namaskar. Then he sat on the rock and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's why it's taking more time. और स्लो करेगा तो ज्यादा टाइम लेते हैं. सो इसलिए 3 मुहूर्तास प्रॉपर ना. Sometimes हम भी जा सकते हैं on the bank of some river, sit and chant quietly. Huh? sit and chant quietly. When he is asking when we आप लोग जब बताएंगे तभी. He had performed his daily rites, necessities like passing urine and bathing. Brahmakshara means the syllables of a Krishna mantra. Abhigranan means uttering, so lightly uttering. In Nectar Devotion, we have read that different kinds of chanting. There is something called japa, something called kirtanam, something called singing, something called uttering prayers, different variety of this thing. Then what happened? That particular day, when he was taking 3 muhurtas time to complete his Sola Mala, 16 rounds, O king, a doe, Harini, being very thirsty, Pipayasa, came near the water. So he sat nearby the river on top of a rock, and near to him there was a deer, came there to drink water. Here Harini means the female deer. That's why she is called Harini. She is also called doe, it seems, English. Then what happened? While the doe was drinking water, the roar of a lion, fearful to all, arose nearby. It seems that this at this point of time the river is not very big. It seems to be a small canal. So while he is drinking water, that's not he, she is drinking water. She suddenly heard the sound of a roaring lion. So Bharata Maharaja was sitting there. The water is coming like this in that canal. Okay. And somewhere there on the upstream, she was drinking water. And behind her, tiger looked at the female Harini. And tiger felt, okay, today my breakfast mil gaya. It suddenly, before about to jump, it suddenly made a huge sound. Hearing that sound, while the doe was drinking water, the roar of a lion, fearful to all, arose nearby. Piche piche, आवाज सुना था. Then, hearing that sound, the doe, whose nature was to be alarmed, even though the deers, while drinking water, also they don't drink and just like that. They keep looking here and there. आगे पीछे देखते रहते क्या कुछ आने वाला because they are always afraid of wild animals. So, whose nature was to be alarmed, with restless eyes. Chakita Nirikshana. Chakita Nirikshana means which is always looking here and there, trying to gaze is there any mistake, is there any danger. With fear of the lion entering its agitated heart, with resolute gaze in terror, leaped over the stream in the same instant, without satisfying her thirst. She was just started drinking water. Suddenly tiger saw and a lion saw and out of joy made huge sound. Hearing that sound, the vigilant female deer, wherever she is, just jumped across. She wanted to go across the water and escape herself. So the canal seems to be small. It is not so big like a huge river. River means very huge. The deer cannot jump that much. The deer is able to trying to jump means it seems that it's a small canal. So, but something interesting happens. Sahasa means at the same time at the roar. Bayat means in terror. She jumped over the river. When the pregnant doe, she was a pregnant doe, jumped up. Her fetus came out, pushed out by great fear, and fell in the river. Out of death fear, when the female harini was jumping across, she was pregnant. The fetus suddenly came out because she was fearful of what's going to happen. So, out of fear, she immediately gave birth to the small deer.
ऐसा voluntarily करता है क्या?
How हो जाता है? We can relate to it when a person is about to die. When Yamudutas come, out of fear, they pass urine and stool. Even it is there now in the Mahabhagavatam only when you hear, when there was fight, when there is a lot of sounds, the female have miscarriages. When there is huge sound, na, the ladies have miscarriage. It happens. Miscarriage happens. Bhagavatam maybe many times it was mentioned. Later on, we will also see in the 5th canto, the miscarriage happens. I'm not remembering exactly whether it is because when Sudarshan Chakra enters into Asura Loka, they are afraid of Sudarshan Chakra. That's when the miscarriage happens. Or Indra sends a Sharama dog, which comes into Asura Loka, and it produces huge sound. Though it is dog, it produces huge sound like that of a lion. Hearing that sound, many asuras will die there and there, and the ladies will have miscarriages. So that the next generation will die. The current generation, both will die. When the women are exposed to huge sounds, they can have miscarriage. Yes, it is there. Out of fear, it will happen. You can check afterwards. Does it happens? In extreme danger is there, na? The women have miscarriage. When they are exposed to extreme danger, they lose pregnancy. So when she jumped across, she was trying to jump across. On the way only, the embryo came out, the fetus came out. Before the mother deer could jump across the river, the fetus came out and fell into the river water. That is what happened. Matlab, everything happened instantly, in no time. Antarvantanya means pregnant. Afflicted by exhaustion, fear, the jump, the discharge of her fetus, and separated from the flock, the black doe fell down in a cave and died. So on the other side of the river seems to be a cave kind of structure. They're all rocky structure because rivers means there will be rocks always. So because one thing is, it is afraid of the tiger sound, afraid of life, and she is thirsty, hungry, and fearful. And she was jumping. Suddenly, she lost her child, and she fell into a cave-like structure and hit herself and fell dead there itself. Cave matlab stones only na. When she suddenly jumped from here to that side, obviously it is not mentioned, but you can understand. Suddenly fell na. You are not so careful how to jump. Jump means you jumped, but how to land you are not careful. Suddenly you must have landed here and there, and then कुछ हो गया.
First statement actually because of exhaustion. Is it normal there is a miscarriage like that?
No. Exhaustion is not only because of miscarriage. Exhaustion was also about she was walking here and there for water. She was thirsty means thirst and hunger is also kind of exhaustion.
Because of that she died.
No. All these things add on to her death. Because all these things, if you normally out of sheer enthusiasm, if you jump across, you make plan how to land. But suddenly happened ना उधर क्या है भी पता नहीं आपने सडनली जंप किया वो गिर गया इस पत्थर के ऊपर हो गया सो इट्स लाइक utpraswa means giving birth from a high place, an abortion. This is an alternate reading. So basically in one sense abortion हो गया. The child came out of the womb forcefully. It is kind of abortion, but the child is not dead. Child is survived. So it's like that. First there was exhaustion because she was walking here and there for food. There was no water. She came to drink water. Suddenly sound came. Fear. Suddenly she jumped. Her exhaustion not clearly cleared already. She suddenly jumped. And on the way, the feet discharged the fetus. And she was separated from the flock. It seems that she was not alone. She was with all the other deers. All other deers went in different directions. This was alone. Sab kuch add okay. She fell down and then she was not prepared how to land. She fell down and dead. So like that. Everything added onto it. But what happened? The king was sitting downstreams. Along with the water, the small kid was floating across the water. The great king Bharata, seeing the helpless fawn floating down the river out of compassion as a friend, thinking its mother had died, is observing everything, took the fawn, which had no friend, to his hermitage. So now, the small kid has no mother who will take care of her. The king took compassion unto it like a friend, like a father, and took that small deer to his ashram. So that is what happened. The deer was a baby, separated from its kind, because it was small, helpless, and separated from its kind, he felt compassion. Because all other deers, like aunties and all, they all went away. No one is there. Who will take care of this deer? So akela ho gaya. So again the deers will not come back. Even if they will come back, will they take the small deer along with them? No. So isliye he became compassionate and he wanted to take care of the small deer. He was taking care of it. What happened?
चाबी नहीं दिख रहा है यहाँ पे.
Okay, छोड़ दो अभी.
मीटिंग में है तो
If you want the slides, you can see it through the mobile. Otherwise, we are anyway discussing. I have shared slides with you all. If you want, you can see the slides. So this is text number 8. Someone can read the translation. वो story खत्म हो गया जो story में सब हुआ.
So when the lion actually roared,
हाँ.
Bharat Maharaj was also there.
Bharat Maharaja is a distant place. Is the all this is happening in the upper stream, upstream. So lion could have attacked Bharat Maharaj. Like that you say?
No, what I mean to say, the Bharat Maharaj was actually unaffected by the lion's presence.
Yes. He was unaffected. Well, it is the previous yuga. Na? Lions are not interested in the human meat, human flesh. They are interested only in the deer flesh.
Is it like that?
I am saying.
Sattvic lion.
I am saying that.
Sattvic lion.
सात्विक नहीं उनका ट्रेडिशनल मील चाहिए उनको पिज्जा पासा नहीं चाहिए उनको सिर्फ राइस दाल चाहिए आज शाम को देखता हूँ
हम चाहते हैं हम राइस दाल खा लेकिन वो
हाँ वो रहते वो भी नहीं लेते तो उसको बोलते तपस्या नहीं तो डिसिप्लिन हाँ प्लीज रीड द ट्रांसलेशन वर्स नंबर 8
taking the phone
as his own child, picking.
No. Books se pado.
The attraction between. Sorry.
Okay, prepare for the next one.
Gradually,
Hmm.
Maharaj Bharata became very affectionate toward the deer. He began to raise it and maintain it by giving it grass. He was always careful to protect it from the attacks of tigers and other animals. When it itched, he petted it, and in this way he always tried to keep it in a comfortable condition.
Hmm.
He sometimes kissed it out of love. Being attached to raising the deer, Maharaj Bharata followed the rules and regulations for the advancement of spiritual life.
This is the problem. Yes, continue. I thought completed.
And gradually forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual life.
Compassion is not problem. When compassion becomes too much, one forgets one sadhana. He was a ruler. He gave up everything. He came to forest to perform austerities and practice sadhana. And now he's taking care of the deer. So in that way, he forgot his sadhana. So compassion should not go to that extent. As we gave 3 examples, a counselor is supposed to give counseling and direct it to the right direction. Instead of directing the counselee to the right direction, so he himself is entangled. That is not good. Like that, a lawyer or a physical trainee or a psychiatrist, they are supposed to guide. They are all like a trainee or a person who needed their guidance. Guidance देने का आगे दिखाने का रास्ता. Instead, साथ में जाएगा तो क्या होता है? One gets affected. Same way, he, of course, compassion is there as a sadhu, as a genuine compassionate person. He should have taken care for a few days, then brought it to the other deer camp and given it to the deer camp only. Instead of that, he kept it with him. He became attached to it. And while taking care of it, previously when ecstasy came, he said, no. Because that was disturbing his sadhana. Now, deer ke liye sadhana ko chhod diya. So this is over compassion. So it's like that. Taking the fan as his own child, he gave up all his children. They may be his own family members or the entire citizen, entire country citizen. But having come to forest, he accepted the fawn to be his child. जो छोड़ दिया उसको वापस अपना रहे. So, taking the fawn as his own child, the king daily fed it, protected it, caressed it, and pleased it, becoming absorbed in the deer by these activities. What are the activities? Feeding, protecting, caressing, and etc. And pleasing it. He gave up his own regulations and rules of conduct and his worship of the Lord bit by bit. In a few days, everything became neglected. Same thing with us also happens. When there was no mobile, when there was no smart mobile, when there was no laptop, we were spending more time with the books. When the mobile came, laptop came, ज़्यादा time इसमें गया. Our the way we used to do previously, that has reduced now. Over compassion. Yukta vairagya. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Yukta vairagya muchate. In the name of Yukta vairagya, Bhakti ko vairagya mil de. So it happens like that. For us, the deer comes in the form of and this and this. Mobile and laptop and any other gadgets.
Kindle.
Yeah. Of course, Kindle, it will have all the features.
No, Kindle only reads.
Only reading, na? That is okay. But this has everything, the entire world is in your palm. Yes, that is what happens. These are our cups, our fans. Do you want to become another example of Bharata Maharaj? No, not from the point of view of the Bhava platform. Taking birth as another mobile, another laptop next time. Huh?
Non-moving living entities.
Uh, so,
What to do?
huh?
What to do?
Give them up. The best thing is give them up. Have the button phone. Have desktop in the computer room. But we say that no, we have already become addicted to it. It's very difficult to give up. It has become a necessity without which we can't do anything. So many services are there. बुक लिखने का, ये करने का, वो करने का, सिमुलेशन करने का, ये करने का, पेमेंट रिक्वेस्ट बनाने का, ये करने का, प्रिंट आउट लेने का, क्विक रेस्पॉन्स देने का, मेल्स अटेंड करने का, ये करने को, वो करने को होता नहीं, डिस्टर्ब मिलता नहीं उधर अभी कंप्यूटर रूम में. So we have hundreds of excuses. सब ऐसे सोचते. But whatever it is, but it is sure, these two will take away our valuable time without fail. Of course, they are also helping us. At the same time, they are also taking away our valuable time. You can also examine yourself. Of course, if one is determined in the path of bhakti, one can curtail the distraction, but otherwise, people like me need help of people like you. By these activities, becoming absorbed in the deer, by these activities, he gave up his own regulations and rules of conduct and his worship of the Lord, bit by bit. In a few days, everything became neglected. कुछ दिन के बाद सब कुछ नेग्लेक्ट किया. जो करने का था हर दिन सुबह सुबह उठ के स्नान करके बैठ के इन 3 मुहूर्तास हरिनाम जपा कर रहे थे. That also became radar japa. Next couple of verses later it comes. How it happened? It becomes like a radar japa. He fed the deer grass, protected it from the wild animals, gave affection by petting it, and fondled it with kisses. By these, he became attached to it. Udavasan means destroyed. So, all these wonderful things. This is what happens in the pet animals also. When somebody taking care of the pet animals, they give a lot of time to the pet animals. Yes or no? Prabhupada is very angry in this particular aspect. If you serve the dog, you will become dog. If you serve God, you will become associate of God. Same thing now. Whomsoever we become attached to, that is what we become at the end. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajiti ante kalavaram. Tam tam yevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita. Then what happened? Alas, this helpless young deer, by the force of the turning of Lord's wheel of time, has now lost its relatives and friends and has taken shelter of me. This is what he is thinking. While showing compassion to it, while protecting it, while feeding the grass, while caressing it, while kissing it, he's thinking that, ayo, it has lost its mother. अनाथ हो गया. Friends नहीं, relatives नहीं, कोई भी नहीं इधर आजू बाजू में. It has become shelterless. It is becoming bigger and bigger, growing faster and faster. So I need to take care of it because it has taken shelter of me. I need to give protection to the small deer. It does not know anyone but me. ये भौतिक जगत में मेरे के अलावा कोई किसको जानते नहीं. So it's upon me to take shelter of it. As I have become its father, its mother, its brother, and relatives. So this is what happens for the counselor, trainer, lawyer, and psychiatrist. The shelter taker says that no one but you have understood me. Till now, no one took care of me the way you are taking care of me. No one had listened to me. No one tried to console me. Everyone found fault with me only. Everyone chastised me. You are the first person in this world took care of me nicely. That's all. Okay.
ऐसा हुआ है present. एक अपने means that terrorist Saddam Hussein ना, so उनके lawyer जो when he was arrested, a lawyer was sent to him. So तो एक ही lawyer से बात करते थे उनका वहाँ से. So the lawyer when he was hanged, the lawyer become attached to him. मतलब उन्होंने फांसी तो दे दिया but he became attached to him. मतलब वो भी अच्छा आदमी था करके ऐसे perception हो गया.
हो जाता है. But when that person says that you are the first person you have heard me, you are the first person you have understood me, this person becomes convinced and says, you also understood me. हो जाता है. It has faith in me. Therefore, I, without envy, knowing the fault of neglecting one who approaches in surrender. This is one of the king's duty. Unfortunately, king is supposed to give shelter to whoever approaches them. Like Kanda Prastha episode also, when Krishna and Arjuna were killing each and everyone in that Kanda forest, Mayadanava took shelter of first to Krishna. Krishna says, no way, I have to kill you. That is the request of Agni. Then he takes shelter of Arjuna. Please, 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 save me, save me, save me, save me. Then Arjuna says, I am a Kshatriya. Somebody surrenders to me, I will not kill them. I'll protect you. Arjuna requested Krishna, let us forgive him. So then he was saved. So Kshatriyas, when somebody approaches them, they will give shelter. That's why now when the Brahmana comes to Krishna and Balramji saying that, please save my sons, they were silent, understanding what is actually going. Arjuna says, I will protect. If I become fail to protect it, your sons, I will die. I'll let fire and enter fire. That's how the Kshatriyas take the vow. That's Kshatriya nature. Same thing, even though Bharata Maharaja went to forest, but his Kshatriya nature is still there. So it has no protector, no one to take care, no friends, no relatives. It has taken shelter of me. So it is my duty to take care of it. Otherwise, if I neglect of taking care of it, it is a big fault upon me. As a Kshatriya, I am going against my Kshatriya Dharma. Knowing the fault of neglecting one who approaches in surrender should rise, protect, gratify, and fondle the deer who has surrendered to me. He said that I should take care of it, I should raise it, I should protect it, I should gratify it, and I should fondle the deer. That's what she needs. The way its mother takes care of it, the mother would always lick through the tongue. So I need to do that with my palms. I need to kiss it. I need to feed it. I need to take care of it like that. He mentally prepared and he was doing the same thing, thinking that it is a matter of Kshatriya duty. From this verse till verse 11, his attachment is shown. The deer has been separated from its kind by the force of the rotation of Lord's wheel of time. Ma means me. But basically, the other days never came that side where Bharata Maharaj was living. They, after fear of tiger, they went somewhere else. They never returned to that area. So he had no opportunity to give that cub to the deer's family. So he had to take care. Being without envy, I see no fault in giving up my own interest for that of the deer. Whereas neglecting one who has come for shelter is a great fault. Kindly see the sentence. Without envy, I see no fault in giving up my own interest. He says that if I don't practice sadhana, because I devoted so much time for taking care of the helpless surrendered deer, there is no fault in neglecting my sadhana. So like that. He decided that if I neglect the taking care of the deer, that is a big fault. But while taking care of the deer, if I neglect my sadhana, there is no fault in it. Because he gave importance to the compassion. So like that.
What does this mean, being without envy?
Being without envy means not out of frustration, not out of grudging. अभी आप आ गया, मेरा साधना डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है. अभी when we are reading something, we are doing something, suddenly one comes and asks something. We may speak. If we keep asking, we may get irritated. अरे यार मुझे पास मेरे पास टाइम नहीं, बाद में आओ ना. So like that. So, though he is disturbing my sadhana, but I don't develop enmity towards it. Out of compassion, taking care of it. So in that way. Those who are detached, who are cultured, and who are saintly, friends to the helpless, neglect their own important interests for such purposes. Nunami Arya Sadava Upashamashila Krupana Suhruda Evam Vidarte Swartan Api Gurutaran Upekshante. For the highest thing, they give up all the other lower things, the great souls. Same way, in order to show compassion to this deer, I am ready to give my own self-interest. So that is the compassion Bharata Maharaja was showing. This is actually for my good. Then, having developed attachment, he became bound by affection to the young deer while sitting, sleeping, walking, bathing, and eating. In all these things, he was doing everything with the deer only. You see what all he was doing. While sitting, he kept deer next to him. While sleeping, he kept the deer next to him. While walking, deer was walking along with him. While bathing, both of them bathing together. While eating, also eating together. सब कुछ साथ में कर रहे हैं. When he went to collect kusha grass, flowers, wood, leaves, fruits, roots, and water, fearing danger from monkeys, jackals, and wild dogs, he would enter the forest with the young deer. He would not even leave the deer in the ashram. Wherever he went, he kept the deer next to him. Like that, small kids, when mother go for work, they keep small kids in a cloth and put behind. And they carry the weight and they do other things. Okay, kid is there behind and they do other things. Because they don't want to keep the kids on lying on the ground. Some insects will come and bite them, snakes will come and do something, bite them, etc. So like that, wherever he went in order to collect some kusha grass, flowers, wood, leaves, fruits, roots, and water, everything, he was keeping the deer with him. Maybe some cloth kind of thing, like cloth bag, hanging around his neck. So in that way. This verse describes his affection. He feared the monkeys, jackals, and dogs because the deer is very small, infantic, it cannot protect itself. So in that way. So then, thus, his mind filled with affection and attachment as he walked here and there in the forest, unaware of the dangers. He would carry the deer on his shoulders, since it was helpless, or keep it on his lap or chest. Putting the deer, he felt great bliss. Petting the deer, he felt great bliss. So it is like that. So it's like that. He was doing all these things. Petting the deer, he felt great bliss. So taking care of it by doing all these things, carrying it on the bag and everywhere. He was happy, quite happy. He would walk on the muddy earth where there was grass for the deer. He was unaware that he may sink in the mud. He was attached. Because grass need to eat something, na? He would walk the places where there is grass, so that the deer would eat. But he would stand next to the deer and he would walk in the muddy area without caring that there could be the road could be so muddy that he might go inside the mud and he would be caught in that. He was not aware of that. He was only interested in the deer getting some food, some grass. So like that. When in the midst of performing worship of the Lord, he would rise and gather the deer. Bharata would offer blessings to the deer within mind, joyful on seeing it. O young deer, all blessings unto you. Swasti state sarvata iti. Swati iti sarvata. Let there be auspicious unto you always, O dear. That means even while performing his daily routine activities like yajna and all, he would constantly look at the deer, whether deer is there or not. And whenever he find the deer, so may you live long, may you live long. Because he was afraid if deer goes away, some tiger will come and eat up. That's why you like. So he says that, may you live long, may you live long. Let there be auspiciousness, Mangal, Shubh, Mangal, etc. etc. He is not focusing on the sadhana. Instead, he is focusing on the deer's welfare and all. Krishna consciousness has become deer consciousness. While performing worship of the Lord, he would think, I do not know where the deer has gone. He would rise and look. If he is not able to see the deer, he would get up and look. If he when he sees, he would say, okay, okay, may you live long, may you live long. Come here, don't go here and there. Something like that. Prakriti sthena means recovering himself, gaining bliss and seeing the deer. Only when he sees the deer, he becomes normal. Otherwise, it's worried. क्या कुछ टाइगर आएगा लेके क्या क्या हो गया कैसे हो गया he was always worried about it. He was only looking for the safety and welfare of the small deer. Sometimes, not seeing the deer, his mind would become pitifully disturbed, like a miser who has lost his wealth. So a miser, if he loses his wealth, he feels that my life is gone. Even life goes, he will not feel bad. But the wealth goes, he'll feel very bad. So like that, when he could not see the deer, he would neglect all the sadhana and he would he would go out for searching the deer. That's what he would do. He would become greatly bewildered and lament. His heart was pained by pangs of separation from the small deer. With longing to see it, he would speak as follows. With a desire to see the deer immediately, he would get up and look all around and he began to say some things. And he would go for searching also and he began to say some things. Sometimes not seeing the deer, he would become bewildered out of longing to see it. So what he would say? Perhaps this young helpless deer whose mother has died, having faith in me, though I am actually cruel like a cunning or low-class person, and I have no pious credits, will not consider my offense and will return out of kindness. So, like that, he would consider that though the deer is helpless, but since I am busy with my sadhana, I am not taking care of it.
Extension.
I am not taking care of it properly. That's why she will feel bad. He is thinking to himself, perhaps this young helpless deer whose mother has died, having faith in me, took shelter of me. Though I am actually cruel like a cunning or low class person. अभी इसी देखो कैसे सोच रहे. I am supposed to take care of it nicely because I am not taking care of it nicely. It has left me. But while saying that, he's saying that I am actually a cruel like a cunning low class person and I have no pious credits. Will not consider my offense and will return out of kindness. He's telling that I am not a genuine sadhu. I'm a cruel and cunning person. I'm just making a show of taking care of it. I don't have any piety. But this small deer should not consider all these things. Out of friendliness towards me, he should come back. He is pleading to the deer indirectly. So this is how he's thinking. He's so compassionate, went to such extent. He's scolding himself as a cruel person, cunning person, and without any piety. He thinks that since I have no piety, that's why the deer left me. If I had piety, the deer would have been with me. So like that, he is thinking. This is the extreme end of compassion.
In one sense, this is correct, not at the state of this sun.
This is like we say always, I'm the lowest among all. There is no one as low as me. We express our humility. We express, but we don't feel like that. Some of you might be genuinely feeling. Others, people like me, who simply a lip action. Really, there is no intention. Because we have to say that is a customary language we have to use. So we say like that.
But from
We don't
your
feel
lips
like that.
to we get transfer.
हाँ
आपके lips से निकल जाए तो we get transfer.
अब ट्रांसफॉर्मर बन जाएगा. So, but he is really feeling it. He is expressing his humility, saying that I don't have any past credits. I'm cunning. I'm cruel. I'm only making a show of taking care of it. I could not take care of it properly. That's why it left me. So like that. Api indicates possibility. Bata indicates compassion. Aho indicates surprise due to lamentation. I have the cruel mind of a cheater or of a low-class person. I am heartless, being inattentive to feeding and protecting the young deer. You see, I am heartless, being inattentive to protect and feed the deer. अभी साधना चला गया रास्ते में, हर दिन का मॉर्निंग ओब्लेशन चला गया, व्हाट यू कैन से एग्जा भी चला गया, डीटी वर्शिप भी चला गया, but he is thinking himself that I am heartless, I am this, I am that, I am low class person, I am cheater, I am like cruel because I could not feed and protect the deer properly. साधना बंद हो गया, उसके लिए कोई चिंता नहीं, तो इसके लिए चिंता बढ़ गया. This is how when something comes to us, we become so attached to it and we give a bhakti. That's all due to our compassion. Thinking this is more important than this. Something like that. What is the cause? I have not done pious activities. I am without good fortune. Will the deer ever return? Not considering the offense that I have committed out of cruelty. I will promise that year after will take care of it very nicely. You please come back. Don't treat my inattentiveness as a serious fault. Like that is pleading to the deer. Please come wherever you are riding, you are playing tricks with me. Please come back. So like that. He trying to console. What is the cause of his offense? The deer considered that I was pure like it was according to the rule. One thinks of the world like oneself. It had faith in me who cannot be trusted. Atmavat? Atmavat mannate jagat. Atmavan mannate jagat. वही है ना? Huh? So whatever we are, we think of the entire world like that. The deer is a very humble, harmful, pious, simple, friendly animal. It thought that I am also a humble, harmless, friendly person. But I am not. I am a cruel, merciless, selfish. Like that he is thinking. This is the real humility. Then perhaps I will find that the deer has been protected by my Lord and is grazing fearlessly on grass in the garden of the hermitage. Or if I go to the hermitage, I will see that it is protected by the Supreme Lord and it is grazing in the nearby area. Like that he thought, thinking that he would go toward the hermitage to find out whether he is there. Maybe the deer has been protected by my merciful Lord. Lord is protecting it. But perhaps a wolf or jackal or a tiger or in a group of animals has eaten the deer. Or some other ferocious animal might have come and ate it up. He was making assumptions. This could happen, that could happen, because he's not seeing the deer. Those traveling in the groups are wild boars. Those traveling alone are the tigers and others. Will they not eat him? कोई तो ग्रुप में आके उनके ऊपर हमला किया होगा और अकेला आकर उनको लेके गया होगा, फॉरेस्ट में खा लिया होगा. The sun, which rises to give benefit to the whole world, composed of the three Vedas, is setting. The young deer entrusted to me by its mother has not returned yet. ऐसा ढूंढते 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 सनसेट हो गया. दोपहर को चाल के दोपहर को इग्नोर कर रहा था, तब से डियर नहीं मिला. ढूंढ रहा है, इधर उधर गया 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 गया, सनसेट हो रहा है. He's saying that sun who every rising gives happiness to everyone is setting today. Does it mean my happiness is going to set today? Because I could not see deer till now. deer तो कभी मुझे छोड़ते नहीं था. आज छोड़ के चला गया, दोपहर को छोड़ के चला गया, सुबह चला गया, दोपहर हो गया, शाम हो गया, अभी रात होने वाला, सनसेट हो रहा है, अभी तक वापस आया नहीं. Did I commit a huge offense or somebody ate it up? Same thing was also mentioned in the previous canto. Puranjana once went for hunting. When he comes back, the Puranjani was lying on the bare ground without wearing proper clothes. मांडीला कर रहे थे, काला क्लोथ पहन के ऐसा वो भवन में घुस गया उसे. So he was pleading, hereafter I made a mistake, I have realized that it is a mistake. Hereafter I will never ever leave you. Whatever you say, I will follow. He was consoling her. Please get up, take bath, decorate yourself. I never saw you like this. I don't want to see you like this. Please do the needful. So like that. That's how a person has to plead. So he is pleading the deer. दोपहर को चलेगा, I was cruel, that is fine. You went and you wanted to punish me. You punished me enough. At least now return. It is already sunset. Night time it will be trouble to you. Any animal can come and eat you up. Daytime somehow you protect yourself, but nighttime it's difficult to protect yourself. You please come. You please come. So like that is making a request. The sun now sets. By rising, the sun gives benefit to the whole world. But to me alone, there is no benefit, since I am unfortunate. Tomorrow morning when sun rises, everyone will be happy in this world except me. Because I will not be having that good fortune of having you next to me to bathe in the Gandaki river tomorrow morning. Like that he says. The sun is the form of the three Vedas and reveals the Vedas. I alone approached to its dharma of mercy. The deer has been entrusted to me by its mother. Its sun is the Veda personified, and all the Vedas indicate that we should show mercy to all. And somehow or other, the deer had come to me. It was entrusted to me by its mother. The mother, while dying, said, "My dear sir, please take care of my kid." Did not say, but the king himself is thinking like that. The mother died and looking at me and thinking that I will take care of her baby. So she kind of gave a instruction to me that please take care of my baby. So I have to fulfill that promise. If you don't come, I will fulfill that promise. Please come. So in that way. Perhaps the prince among the deer will return and drive away my grief by his pleasant deer actions and happiness to me, who have not done any pious activities. Though I was a king for many, many years, but I have not done any pious activities. So, but even though I have not done any pious activities, by maybe some trace of piety may be there somewhere here and there. As a result of that, may the prince of deers might return to me in order to console me. Otherwise, tomorrow morning I will not be, if I will not be able to see the deer by tomorrow morning, Tomorrow morning will be the most inauspicious day for me. I will also have to give up my body in the absence of the deer. Out of separation from the deer, I cannot live long for more time. So like that he is praying. Out of affection, he glorified the deer while lamenting. Then he says that when I would close my eyes and fake samadhi, in jest, the deer would approach in great alarm and out of anger and love, butt me with the tender tips of his arms, which felt like water drops. After taking bath, sitting next to the river on the rock, when I start closing my eyes and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, 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 Hare Hare, silently. He said that when I fake samadhi, out of anger, what are you doing without playing with me? You are sitting and sleeping? Get up, get up. Saying that the deer would come and with his two newly born horns, it would poke me. So like that. You used to do like that. And today also I am doing that such kind of fake samadhi, fake worship. You should do it. Come and do it. Don't go away. Please come and do it once again. So like that he's saying. So when the deer new water, new horns, when they hit the person, he would feel them like the two water drops. They will be very cool. Like water drops falls, na? You feel like morning after Mangalarti, sprinkler will come. We feel so cool. So you would feel like that. Because they are very tender, very soft at that time. He will approach me with my eyes closed in false samadhi. O fool, though I nourish you, I will not give up my daily duties of remembering and chanting. I am giving you up. Go wherever you want. So he would, if sometimes if very angry, being angry, the Bharata Maharaja would say that you fool, you are disturbing me so much. You are always demanding so much play, so much attention. I need to practice my sadhana. I don't want to take care of you. Go away. I want to practice my sadhana. That's how he would say, and he would go to samadhi and start chanting. Then the deer would come and eat him. Pretend to be angry. I would then fake samadhi out of desire to see what the deer would do. Out of anger in love, the deer would put me. The deer would butt me with the tips of his tender horns, which felt like drops of water. So it would come and hit like this. Get up, you should play with me. Let us go and take bath once again in the river. Something like that he would ask. So he would get disturbed by that. Then the deer would contaminate the ingredients of sacrifice placed on the kusha grass. I would scold it. Stay away. Sit there. Freeze. I would say. But the deer would become angry. I would scold it. Fearful. It would immediately stop playing and lick. And like the son of a sage, would sit and with restrained senses. When I want to do some deity worship, it would come and it would taste, smell, it would contaminate the ingredients. Then I would say that go, stay away, freeze. It would go away out of fear and become timid and quiet. The deer would contaminate the ingredients placed on the kusha grass by touching them with his teeth. Another version as Dushitva, having contaminated the kusha grass. I would scold the deer, ha, what have you done? It would give up its play and return with motionless senses. वो खेलना बंद करके दो जाके आराम से बैठते थे. What penance the earth must have done. Then now he says that he is remembering what used to happen previously. And when sun is about to set one side, other side he sees some footprints of the deer feet. And now he is saying that what penance the earth must have done. The earth is indicating the path to wealth for this miserly person who suffers from poverty by the small, graceful, auspicious footprints of the humble black deer. At the end, when he is about to set the sun, he saw the couple of footprints of the deer. Then he says that the earth is so merciful upon me. By showing these deer footprints, it indicating that the deer has come here in this way sometime back. It indicates that the deer is still alive, it is not dead. It is passed away, passed in the nearby garden sometime back. So it's like that. He's thinking that just like a miserly person who accumulates a lot of wealth without spending, when some still takes it away, he'll cries a lot. Then when he again finds the wealth, what kind of joy he gets? That kind of joy I am getting now. By looking at the footprints of the deer. This is what he says. Then he says that the earth made itself a place of sacrifice for Brahmanas, desiring to attain Swarga or liberation, ornamenting itself with these footprints. The earth made itself a place for sacrifice for the Brahmanas, desiring to attain Swarga or liberation. Just by having the footprints of the deer, the earth has become more pious than previously it was. And now this place where the footprints of the deer are there, it has become the holy place. This place is fit for the performance of yajna. And by performing yajna in this place, one will surely will go to Swarga or Apavarga. That's how he's glorifying. We say that wherever Lord's footprints are there, that place becomes holy place. Whatever we do, we get 1,000 times of result. That is what we hear. And here Bharata Maharaj using the same philosophy. He is saying that this place has the footprints of the deer. It has become more auspicious. Whatever one does here, they give the results of the 10,000 times. It's like that. Thinking in this way, he would then rise up and go outside, seeing the earth marked with its footprints. He then criticizes himself while glorifying the doer out of love. Out of causeless love, he is glorifying the deer and the earth, which are the footprints of the deer. Oh, Bharata! Oh, Bharata is highly unfortunate. Bharata does not have the good fortune of the touch of the deer's footprints. But the Mother Earth had the good fortune of touch of the footprints. So in that way. He is useless performer of penance. What penance the earth has done, that you have not done. Or, O people of the 14 worlds, say among you, who has done penance like the earth? You have not done as the earth has done. Earth has the good fortune of the touch of the deer's feet. I don't have the good fortune. What penance the earth has done? So like that, he's saying. By describing the deer, he indicates the pleasure he derived from it. The footprints shows the way to wealth. When he saw the footprints, he was kind of half composed. The deer is still alive. It must be somewhere nearby. He came back to his senses. He came back to his life. If he did not have found the footprints, he would have died. That was the anguish he was going through. Oh, miserable Bharata, why do you weep? You will obtain your pleasure of life, the small deer, which has entrusted to the forest by following the trails of its footprints. In this way, the earth is merciful to me and is pacifying me by showing the footprints of the deer. By spreading out these footprints as its ornaments, the earth has made itself playfully into a place of sacrifice. Smruti says, Yasmin deshe mruga krishna tasmin dharmam nibodata. It is a scriptural word, scripture statement. Know that there is dharma, a place of sacrifice, where the black deer resides. Wherever the Krishna deer resides, that place is fit for performing dharma and yajna and austerities. So one can perform all these wonderful things. So one gets benefit quickly. That is the understanding of having the footprints of a Krishna deer. Krishna. Black deer. Then he further says, the Lord in the form of the moon, affectionate to helpless persons, out of mercy, is protecting this young deer. Now it is already night. Suryast ho gaya, Chandroday ho gaya. Seems to be full moon day. Now he is saying that the deer might become bewildered in the dead night, in the dead of the night. But oh moon, you are so merciful that you have come with full brightness. So may you give pathway, may you show the pathway to the deer so that the deer will not become afraid. It will be protected nicely in your light. It's like that he's saying. The Lord in the form of the moon, affectionate to helpless persons out of mercy, is protecting this young deer, whose mother died out of fear of a lion, and who has now left my hermitage. So like that. He is praying to the moon. Oh moon, thank you very much for coming with full brightness. May you protect my deer. Please show the pathway to back to the ashram so that the deer will come back to the ashram. So like that. कितना तक पहुंच गए? His attachment to the deer.
How Ruchi.
Ruchi, Bhava, Asakti. Looking in the sky and seeing the moon, he thinks that he sees a small deer on the moon. The deer has left my hermitage since I'm a most sinful person, having been into. Another meaning is that he looked into the moon. Moon ke upar to marks hai na? He thinking that it seems that I'm so unfortunate person, I'm so impious. So deer left me and went to moon. So my dear moon, please take care of the deer nicely. So like that is praying the moon.
Movie जैसा लग रहा है.
Movie?
Those stages are also present in material life.
See, actually, when one comes to the Baba platform, one should feel like this. One should feel that, my dear Lord, without you, I can't live anymore. Please take me to your abode. In the absence of the Lord, they should feel like they don't want to live anymore. That should be the symptoms of Baba. Baba Prema platform, the devotee will get that kind of symptoms. Same thing we can see here is getting for deer. Same feeling. The devotee should not be able to continue his life in this world anymore. That is the real symptoms of Baba and Prema. Looking in the sky, he said all these things. Oh moon, you are the Lord. Otherwise, how could you have the fortune to have the mark of the deer on your surface? The earth is glorious and you are also glorious. Both earth has footprints of the deer and you also have the footprints of the deer. So both of you are so fortunate. I am not unfortunate. I am the highest unfortunate. There is no more unfortunate than me in this world. So like that. Finally, Bharata Maharaja says, when will the moon give me pleasure by its rays of cool, peaceful nectar flowing from its mouth out of attraction for me as I pursue the deer with my heart like the land lotus burns with the feverish flames of the forest fire of separation from my son. He's telling that, when will the moon give me the real pleasure? How? By increasing your brightness, if you show me the correct path towards my son, if I find my son, then you will be the cause of my pleasure. If you don't do this, I'll curse you. If you don't show where my son is, I'll curse you. There is no point you being there. Though your moonlight is very cooling, but right now I not feel cold. Out of separation from my son, I'm feeling with them very hot. Only when I find my son, I feel your moon rays are cooling and soothing. Till then, I can't tolerate your moon rays. I feel them intolerable hot moon rays. It's like the disease. Noticing that the rays of the moon are burning him, he expresses his desire. In separation from my son, the cool rays of the moon have become hot. Ha! When will the time come? When will the young deer will come back to me? The moon will then cool me down. Till then, I am burning with fire of separation. In the night time, he is saying this. This is the love and affection one should develop for Krishna. Will the moon turn me, who pursue the deer, into nectar, or will it turn me into fire? Will it turn me into nectar by inundating my limbs burning in separation from the deer with its nectar, by its race made of nectar flowing as water constantly from its mouth, cool and peaceful, intensified by affection for my. Just as a person skillful in mantra cool a fever by applying water from their mouths, the moon should apply water from its mouth on me. Are you getting? The people in the past villages, they cure the diseases by taking some saliva and applying the below the eyes. The fever would go away. Saliva has that potency. And not only saliva, saliva along with the mantras. By mantras only they would cure all the diseases. Now he's saying that may the moon also should apply some water from its mouth on me and reduce my fear and suffering and bring me good fortune of seeing the deer once again. Like that, he is praying to the moon. So basically, he's expressing his agony. Please bless me so that I will reunite with my son. He is feeling him as son. So in that way. When will the deer pacify me out of affection by the touch of his mouth on my limbs? When will the deer come back to me and it will lick me? Then only I feel cooling sensation. Otherwise, I feel only burning sensation, even in the cool rays of the moon, full moon day of the moon. So like that it says. He further continues. His heart afflicted by unfulfilled desire, Bharata fell from his practice of yoga, from his detachment from material enjoyment achieved by bhakti, and even from his worship of the Lord by the Lord's special arrangement of prarabdha karma through the appearance of the young deer. So now what happened eventually? His heart afflicted by unfulfilled desire. Bharata Maharaj fell from his practice of yoga, bhakti yoga, from his detachment from material enjoyment, achieved bhakti. Whatever bhakti achieved, having given up the kingdom, family, opulence, had come to forest and practicing bhakti, he came to Baba platform, was experiencing Baba. But now he has given up that Baba bhakti, being attached to a deer. Even from his worship of the Lord by the Lord's special arrangement of the prarabdha karma. By becoming too attached to the deer, he created his new prarabdha karma, by which he became indifferent to his daily bhakti activities. How else could he develop attachment for the young deer? While Bharata, who had previously rejected his own sons as an obstacle to the highest goal, and now who produced an obstacle to his practice of yoga. So it's like that. He thought all the family opulences and family members are all bondage. He gave them up and came to forest. But now he became attached to the deer and gave up sadhana. Forgot himself by showing affection for protecting, by petting, showing affection for protecting and nourishing the young deer. Inevitable death with great speed approached him, just as snake approaches a mouse hole. From the next morning onwards, he had completely given up the sadhana. Because deer did not come back. Something happened to the deer. Thinking about the deer and thinking about his incapacity, inability to take care of the deer. He was thinking that I'm good for nothing, I'm this, I'm that, like this, thinking like that, remorseful, waiting for the deer to come back. He fell on the ground and in due course of time thinking about the deer, where are you, how are you? He left his body. Just like Dasharatha Maharaj fell on the ground and eventually in due course of time, in couple of days he left his body, thinking about Lord Rama. So my dear son, it is because of my foolishness I am sending you to the forest. Please don't go to the forest. Please come back and arrest me and put me in jail. You become the king. No problem. But don't leave me away. You are my darling son. Because of my foolishness, I am putting you in great trouble of sending you to the forest, wearing the matted clothes and tree barks, etc., etc., etc. Lord Rama just went to the forest that night. He spent time with Guha. Next morning, they crossed Ganga. They went to deeper into the forest. They came to Chitrakoot. In a day or two, Bharata came. Well, maybe within a week's time, you could say that Bharata came with the news that our father passed away. Then Lord Rama performed the 12th day ceremony in Chitrakoot. So everything happened within that 12 days only. So Dasharatha Maharaj could not retain his life for a long time after Lord Rama went to forest. That is the attachment. Even he also, it seemed that in no time, maybe a couple of days later, he died. If I gave up bhakti, he gave up eating and he gave up maintaining himself. So because out of separation from the deer, he fell on the ground and the old age approached very fast. He can't even move, get up and do anything. Hare Krishna. Okay.
He died at the old age stage.
Huh?
He died at the old age. Natural death.
Yeah. Natural death means Abhi stop doing everything. I mean, it's more than physical death, it's a mental death. You are getting? It's all because of me, because of me. I could not take care of it, I could not take care of it, I could not take, there is no point in me living, there is no point in living me left. So like that, thinking like that, he left. It's a natural death only. He did not commit suicide. But what happened now? Out of sufferation, the old age came instantly and he left his body. He could not survive long. Like Dasharatha Maharaj also, he was like, he could have lived for many more years. If Lord Rama was around, he could have lived for another 1,000 years happily. But since Lord Rama left, and more than that, he thought that it is because of me only Lord Rama is going to the forest. I am the cause of Lord Rama suffering for the next 14 years. That thought consumed his vital energy and he gave up his body. Here also same thing. Because of my inattentiveness, I could not take care of the deer properly. It went to the forest and what happened, I don't know which animals ate it and what are the troubles it is going through. He left his body. He fell from his position in yoga and worship of the Lord by the influence of the karmas of his life, which manifested as a small deer to him. Prarabdha karma is of two types, auspicious and inauspicious. The auspicious Prarabdha karmas occur by the will of the Lord to increase longing for devotion to the Lord, like sharp ointment applied to the eyes. So some Prarabdha karmas are two types. So he already developed Bhava Bhakti for the Lord. Here, Lord only orchestrating the entire pastime to increase his longing for the Lord. That's why this entire pastime happened. The Lord himself came in the form of the deer, some say, to increase his attachment toward the Lord. Because in this life, he will show attachment toward the deer. In the next life, in next two lives, he will show the same attachment to the Lord. Till now also he was in Bhava Bhakti, he had attachment toward the Lord out of respect, a respectful attachment. But after this remorse, he will develop intense attachment toward the Lord. In order to increase his attachment to the Lord, Lord himself came in the form of deer. Like that, we should see. Same way Lord says to the Narada Muni also in the previous life, I appeared to you just to increase your longing for me. In this life, you will not see me. But in the next life, you will see me every time, every now and then. That's how it is.
Prarabdha karma came in the form of the apostle of
Ah. Prarabdha karma is of two types, auspicious and inauspicious.
auspicious. So he created the प्रारब्ध कर्म और कुछ प्रारब्ध कर्म होगा उनका.
Abhi, he himself is a great devotee. In the first chapter only we discussed what happened in the life of Priyavrata and what happened in the life of Bharata Maharaja is all orchestrated by Supreme Lord. There is no bad Prarabdha karma. That's what I'm saying. Lord himself came in the form of the deer and he became attached to it. In one sense, he became attached to Lord only. But for us to take lessons, we should not see the deer as a Lord. We should see the deer as a deer only. The first type of prarabdha karma occurs by the will of the Lord to increase longing for devotion to the Lord, like sharp ointment applied to the eyes. This is accepted favorable by the devotees. Being similar to prarabdha karma, it is accepted as such. That which creates more intense bhakti in the future takes place in those who already possess rati or bhava unto the Supreme Lord. See, see the whole story together. Then only this sentence makes sense. Bharata Maharaja is the greatest of devotees. That is the verdict of Rishabdev. Who is Rishabdev? He himself gave the verdict. If the great devotee serve him, he will be delivered. And he ruled for some time, 2 Chaturyugas. And he came to the forest to perform bhakti serious with full-time attention. He was doing it. He was manifesting bhava symptoms. But keeping the bhava symptoms aside, he was engaging in deity worship, devotional service. So Lord was astonished. बाबा दे रहे मैं आप उसको छोड़ रहे आप भक्ति में इतना इंटरेस्ट दिखा रहे I will increase your longing for me so much. Let me see. So he came in the form of a deer. He became attached to the deer externally. Internally he was attached to the Lord. So then what happened? Because he became attached to the deer in order to show the lesson, he took the birth of a deer. In the deer's birth, first off he was remorseful. What mistake, what kind of grave mistake I did. I left everything, came to forest to practice bhakti, but I left to bhakti and taking care of the deer. I have become deer now. So I should never make this mistake. After the remorse, next one is longing. I should only practice bhakti, nothing else, nothing else. Even the day he was only practicing serious tapasya. Every day taking bath and hearing the mantras chanted by the brahmanas. She was moving around the ashram only. We are not going anywhere where with different variety of sadhus are living. Then she left the deer body. He became Brahmana Bharata. In Brahmana Bharata, he was not even willing to do Brahmanical activities. You only want to meditate on Supreme Lord. That much attachment he developed. So, then how could it be inauspicious prarabdha karma? It is not at all. But for us, the lesson is that if we take other than bhakti, other activities more serious than bhakti, we will become attracted to it. We will be bewildered, and our going back there to God it becomes delayed. So that is the lesson we have to learn. At the fag end of life, we should take bhakti as the most important activity than any other things. Ananya chintayantamam yajana paripasat. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. So like that understanding we should get from this past time. Showing compassion is not bad, but showing compassion should not go to the extent that our bhakti is hindered. So that is understand. That is the lesson. The second type consists of results of actions of previous lifetimes, which manifest later as absorption in material life. So other one is whatever activities you performed, all the samskaras are there. They go along with us. Even though we may externally renounce, go to forest, they continue to stay with us. Like that, what is happening with us? I can watch for it. Apparently, externally, we show to the world that by wearing this clothes that we have given up all the material activities. But we are doing all material activities only, so many. It's going on still. The prarabdha karmas are still going on with us. Here, the first type is indicated by the word su in Swarabdha Karmana. Su Arabdha Karmana. Good prarabdha karma, not bad. He fell from his austerity of rejecting material enjoyment, which was produced by Bhakti Yoga. He gave up material enjoyment, came to forest to perform austerities, but he gave up austerity, he became attached to deer. The word cha means even. Even though Bhakti does not have great obstacles, he fell from worship of the Lord by the will of the Lord. What happened to Bharata Maharaja is all by the will of the Lord only. How else could he fall except by the prarabdha karma arranged by the will of the Lord? How a person who even neglecting the bhava symptoms in order to practice his bhakti could have neglected his bhakti? This is all orchestrated by the Supreme Lord himself. It is not due to his Prarabdha karmas. He had already given up his sons. Her, he fell from the semblance of karma in the form of a deer. Though the Jivan Muktas do not have any false identity, they have a semblance of false identity. Similarly, those who have developed Rati do not have Prarabdha karma, but have a semblance of Prarabdha karma. Apparently, in order to show a lesson to us, it appears as if a abas of Prarabdha karma. Entire pastime is like a abas of Prarabdha karma. So for us, externally, when we, without understanding Acharya's commentary, when we read the pastime, we say that Prabhupada writes like that. See what happened? He left the association, he came to the forest alone, practicing something alone, without the Sangha. And he was showing compassion on the deer, which is on the roadside. He gave up his bhakti. These are symptoms of some offense. Some aparad kiya hoga pehle, isliye aisa ho gaya. That is a lesson for us. So in that way. Or he fell down because of the inferior fawn through auspicious Prarabdha karma. Under the influence of his good Prarabdha karma, Bharata took care of the deer. So like that various possibilities are there. Of all these possibilities, one can think that what is happening with Bharata Maharaja is all will of the Lord only, not by his aparad or Prarabdha karmas or anything else. Otherwise, if there has been no good karma, he would not have a desire to care for the deer. अरे deer को ख्याल रख रहे मतलब उनके वो is a very pious soul, very genuine sadhu. So how can you say that he has some prarabdha karma? He has some pap account. Bharata's fall, however, was arranged by the Lord for the purpose of increasing his longing for bhakti after taking birth as a deer and as a brahmana. The Lord has said, Naham tu sakyo bhajatopi jantum bhajami amishan anuvritti vritya yatando yatadano labda dane vinaste tat chintayanam nibrutona veda. This is from Canto 10, chapter 32, text number 20. Chapter 32 is about Ras Panchadhyay in that section. But the reason I do not immediately reciprocate the affection of living beings, even when they worship me, O gopis, is that I want to intensify their loving devotion. They then become like a poor man who has gained some wealth and then lost it, and who thus becomes so anxious about it that he can think of nothing else. When a poor man works hard, gains a lot of wealth, if somebody comes and steals away that wealth, what kind of pain they go through? They only think of that wealth only, which they have lost just now. Similarly, in order to increase that longing of my devotees, I appear for a while and disappear, so that their longing for me increases. This is how I reciprocate with my devotees. Like that, Lord Krishna tells. I don't make my appearance to my devotees constantly. If I constantly appear, they'll take it for granted. Familiarity breeds contempt. I just appear, give them a taste of my presence, and then disappear. Having tasted my auspicious presence, they long for my presence more and more. That's how they hanker for me more and more. That's how they become more eager to come to spiritual world and want to see me continuously, want to serve me continuously. It's like that. Unless until we have some higher taste, we have tasted some higher thing, we don't anchor for it. Till then it is not there, we don't anchor for it. At least I can say that. This is my little understanding. We are hearing about Krishna consciousness so much. We are hearing about going back to Godhead and serving Krishna personally, all these things, so many things. But we don't have the taste of that. So as of now, we don't have the taste of that. We don't anchor for it so much. When one gets the taste of it, one anchors for it. One does not like to look here and there. One only want that. I only want that. I have tasted it. I want that. Nothing else. So it is like that. That's what, when Krishna sees one is qualified, Lord Krishna gives. In order to increase their longing for Krishna, he gives a small experience. Then their longing for that experience becomes more and more, more and more. That's how they will come back to and eventually in due course of time. That's what Dadami buddhiyogam tam yeno upantite. Buddhiyogam means Lord Krishna give that small experience for a small time, and they long for it. They hanker for it. They work for it. They die for it. Eventually, it's like that. He did not think of himself. Bharata did not think of himself. Death arrived like a snake approaching a mouse hole. He was only thinking of the deer because he could not see the deer since yesterday morning, and days passed by, 2 3 days passed. Worried about what happened to the deer, what happened to the deer. I'm so careless, I'm so careless, I'm so careless. What happened to the, what happened to the deer? Then mrityu aa gaya. Then what happened? Seeing the deer lamenting by his side like his son, and absorbed in thinking of the deer, he gave up his body in the company of the deer. So looks like when he is about to die, the deer came to his side. Just like when an old man who is about to die, all family members are next to him. Actually, this is one way it is good also, one way it is bad also. If the person is too much attached to the family members, na, while passing away, if he sees the family members, he will think of their what will happen to them, what, especially the wife and children, what will happen to them, what will happen to them. Too much absorption in that. Even when His Grace Krishna Prabhu was detected with 4th stage of cancer when he was about to die, he was brought here. Lakshmi Narayana Haluni was kept, and all the devotees were chanting, etc. That time it seemed that Maharaj told Prabhuji's wife and mother and children, at least don't come for tonight. The doctor told anytime you can leave the body. Don't come in front of him. If you come in front of him, instead of thinking of Krishna, he will think of you and your welfare only. So the wife and children stayed away only. They did not go into the room. All other brahmacharis only taking care of him, inspiring him to remember Krishna, etc. And that like that, he left his body. So at the time of death, whoever are there next to us, one will think of them the more. Here, उनका ऐसे वही हुआ था. वो deer चला गया, but when he is about to die, the deer came. When deer came, he was only thinking about the welfare of the deer. And thinking of the deer's welfare, he gave up his body in the company of the deer. After the death of his body, without loss of memory of his previous life, he attained the body of a deer as if undergoing karma. The external story, when the normal reader, when he sees, उनके लिए यम्यम वापि स्मरण भावं तजिदन्ते कलेवरम तम तम एवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भाविता. So whatever we remember, antakale cha mameva, mam nahi idhar, deer. Antakale cha deer eva, smaran muktva kalevaram. So whatever, that only comes. So in that way, you are thinking of the deer and left his body and he became a deer. But one thing is that, because he was a great devotee, he remembered his past life. पूरा जीवन भर क्या क्या किया था सब याद है. External story is going through karma, cycle of transmigration. तो एक deer के प्रति आकर्षित हो गया, इसलिए deer का शरीर मिल गया कर्म के हिसाब से. But from our point of view, in order to increase his longing, Lord gave him the deer body. First he will go through remorse, then longing will increase. So it is like that. He saw the deer by his side lamenting like his own son, giving up his body in the presence of the deer. He attained the body of a deer like a person afflicted by karma. After his body died, his memory of his previous life was not destroyed. After giving up the body of the Bharata, King Bharata, even after entering into the body of a deer, he did not forget that he was a king. However, Bharata was above karma. It has already been explained that he had no prarabdha karma. It was a semblance of karma only. Semblance matlab abas. Aparad naam, abas naam, shuddha naam. That's what I'm saying, Prabhuji. Externally, for a normal outside reader, you will see that तो इसके प्रति आकर्षित हो गए इसलिए देर का शरीर मिल गया. That is the principle of karma. Whatever you think of at the time of death, that is what you will get. But he is getting deer body is not because of karma. It is a pastime orchestrated by the Supreme Lord, Who was the deer to whom he attached? It was Lord only. भगवान के प्रति आकर्षित होकर भगवान का स्मरण करते हुए देह छोड़ दिया.
Here Bhagavatam.
Not allowed.
No.
Continue, I will just say.
So here two things you have to see. The one thing, in order to take lessons, we have to see what is happening. Other thing, how the Supreme Lord is orchestrating a pastime with respect to his devotee in order to increase the longing of the devotee towards himself. Just like Narada Muni, as a small boy, has the darshan of the Lord for a moment, small time. And Lord himself says, I have given you my darshan to you in order to increase your longing for me. And of course, that small boy again longed for Lord, and eventually in his next life he became Lord's eternal associate and he could see the Lord at any point of time. The same way, when a person by sincere practice comes to Bhava platform, will have the experience of the Lord for a small time, and then the longing will increase. Now I want to have only this experience for the rest of eternity. I don't want anything else in this world. That longing only makes a person qualified to come back to Godhead. Otherwise, our longing for the things of this material world will continue. As I just mentioned, externally we wore this cloth, but our attachment to things of this world is still continuing. Unless until we experience that, even for a fraction of a second, we will not increase our attraction toward the Supreme Lord. We will not develop that longing to serve the Lord in person. अभी तक सब चल रहा है. हाँ, डीटी सेवा चल रहा है, ये सेवा चल रहा है, वो सेवा चल रहा है, प्रसाद भी खा रहे हैं, महाप्रसाद भी खा रहे हैं, फीस्ट भी खा रहे हैं, सब कुछ चल रहा है. In the name of bhakti, we are doing all these things. But unless until we experience the real bhakti once, our longing for true bhakti will not manifest. उसके लिए हम प्रयास करना पड़ेगा. Here, through the pastime of Bharata Maharaj, there are two lessons are shown. For a common public, he is showing a lesson that MM Vapi Smaran Bhavam. If you become attached to something at the time of death, you will get that. That pastime is shown. But for devotees, Lord is showing that if you work very hard to come to the Bhava platform, and afterwards I will take the reins in my hand. I will orchestrate everything in such a way that you will come to me very quickly. This is what happens with Chitraketu Maharaj also. Later on you will see in the 6th canto, whoever may be your teacher. Chitraketu Maharaj was a king. He as a king, he has a material duty that I need to beget a son who will take care of the kingdom in the future. He tried a long. He was not destined to get a son, but he got a son, Narashoka, and he died, and etc. Narada Muni tells, enough is enough. You tried sufficiently. Now devote your remaining life for serving Krishna. He gave him mantra and he went to forest and practiced severe austerities. In 7 days, he had darshan of Lord Sankarshana. And Lord Sankarshana blessed him to become king of Vidyadharas. After becoming Vidyadharas, he was serving Lord Krishna by glorifying him. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smarana, he was doing everything nicely. But he continued as Vidyadhara for 1 lakh years. Oh, both time ho gaya. Abhi Lord want to bring him to spiritual world. Then Lord himself orchestrated a pastime. Through the medium of Mother Parvati, he was cursed to become Vritrasura. So as Chitraketu Maharaj, when he transformed as Gandharva, Vidyadhara, he was thinking of the Lord. He was doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. But he did not have the longing to go back to Godhead. He was happy doing that. Like that 1 lakh years passed. He could have continued for 1 more lakh years. But in order to bring him to spiritual world, the Lord orchestrated the pastime in such a way that Mother Parvati cursed him to change his body. So that he will feel remorse first. Then he will feel longing. With that longing, he will go back to Godhead immediately. He could have fought the battle with Indra for some more time. He himself is telling Indra, so my dear Indra, take away that Vajrayuda and cut my throat, by which I can leave this body, I can go back to Godhead. He is so eager to go back to Godhead, he is telling his enemy to kill him. It's like that. So, that is also Lord orchestrated the pastime. If you remember your 4th canto pastime, Prutu Maharaj, he went to forest He could have performed austerities slowly, धीरे धीरे कर सकते थे. But Bhagavatam clearly says that with a desire to see the Lord quickly, he underwent very severe austerities. No one can think of. He performed that kind of severe austerities, which are the last step one can perform. Among the austerities also, there is gradation. Na? There is nothing beyond this much austerity. That kind of austerities he was performing. Because he wanted to go back to Godhead quickly. That was the eagerness with which he did. And fourth canto, another pastime, Malay Dvaja. Even when he went to forest along with Vaidarbi, he was also performing austerities of the top class austerity. The desire is same. Wanted to go back to Vaikuntha quickly. So that will manifest. Unless until the desire is there, one cannot go back to Godhead. That should manifest.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Roji, for your auspicious presence.
Yeah.
In your presence, so many things are happening here.
I realize I'm not qualified to go back. Thank you. But Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha.
Krishna, Krishna. Thank you for giving us Lava Mata Sadhusanga.
And very attractive.
So this is my little understanding. For a normal reader, see this as a karma cycle happening. But devotee should see is this as how Lord is orchestrating the entire event in order to increase his lung. He is showing an example of how Lord intervenes in the life of a devotee to bring them close to him. What was the verse from 10th canto? Brahma's prayers ke baad, no, one of the last chapters it comes. Prabhupada always quote that verse that happened in his life. Arishet Dhanam Shanai. Kya dekha? When Lord wants to show special mercy upon a devotee, he takes away everything that devotee possesses, so that his own men will criticize him, throw him out of the home, and he has nothing to take shelter of in this material world. And that devotee will take shelter of the Lord exclusively. In that shelter, he will come back to me very quickly. Otherwise, he will continue to practice bhakti comfortably. सब कुछ अच्छा है, सब कुछ अच्छा है. चल, आराम से चलने दो, आराम से चलने दो. Currently, we are also in that position. Because we are living in an opulent ashram, everything is available. सब कुछ है. क्या नहीं बताओ? Last 1 week there is feast every day. So our practice of bhakti is very, if not our mind, on a very comfortable level. सब कुछ ठीक से चल रहा है. अभी क्या सोचने का, कुछ सोचने का नहीं. अब चल रहा है, सब चल रहा है आराम से. धीरे धीरे करेंगे ना, जल्दी क्या है. But when such kind of devotee has sincerity, Lord will bring him to a place where he can take shelter of Lord exclusively in order to bring him close to him. It's like that. It will happen like that one day. If one has sincerity. Otherwise, if one is only trying to spend time in the name of being devotee, Lord also becomes indifferent. हाँ आप ओके करते रहो. नो कुछ आपको कुछ अर्जेंस नहीं, मुझे भी कुछ अर्जेंस नहीं. So like that. Okay, that is the meaning of semblance. Externally, it seems to be that he is going through karma, but actually, he is not going through karma. It is all Lord orchestrating the entire pastime. In order to show the case study, आपको case study चाहिए ना, example चाहिए ना. What happens after going to Baba platform? What happens afterwards? This is the case study. This is what happens after going to Baba. Lord will take the reins in his hand. Till Baba, you have to drive your chariot. Having gone to Baba, Lord will drive the chariot. China. By the influence of his worship of the Lord, he could remember the cause of becoming dear in this life, and he was greatly repentant. He spoke as follows: I have fallen from the path of the great devotees. This is repentance. After repentance, the longing will continue. The repentance, he says that I have fallen from the path of great devotees into a miserable condition. I, being intelligent, had renounced material association. and had alone taken shelter of the pure forest, Kandaki river. My mind was absorbed completely and continuously in Paramatma, the soul of all souls, Bhagavan Vasudeva. By hearing, contemplation, chanting, worshipping, and remembering. Tad Anushravana, Anumanana, Anusankirtana, Anuaradhana, Anusmarana. I was doing all these things. But then my mind foolishly became absorbed in a young deer and fell down from the platform of Baba platform. And now I have become deer. That is remorse. Abhi ho gaya. This next is the last verse. 31. If you want, you can go and come, but we are closing in 5 minutes. Atmavata means wise. I was absorbed in Paramatma, the soul of all jivas. My mind was fixed in taking the process of bhakti, such as remembrance, but fell down because I became attached to the deer. Becoming very disgusted, he gave up his dear mother and went from the Kalanjara mountain. Eventually, he was born to a dear mother. The mother is there, mother was taking care of him. As he grew up a little bit bigger, where he could walk on his own. He left his mother. He went to Kalanjara mountain of the Pulahashrama. The place of the Lord, the place called Shalagrama, due to the sages with controlled mind, dear to the sages with controlled mind. He went to a place where the other group of sages were performing serious bhakti. He wanted to be in the association of serious devotee this time. Last time he made a mistake of staying alone. This time he does not want to make that mistake. Even as a deer, he went to the Kalanjara mountain where devotees are performing serious bhakti. Kalanjara means from his birthplace on the mountain called Kalanjara. Shalagrama is the name of the place to which he returned. Even Shalagrama, some place is there today also. Somewhere it must be there. Shaligram. Dharmashala, Shaligram, they are all there in the Himalayas somewhere. And Gauranga Prabhu said that this Pulahashrama is in the Nepal side, in the Nepal area. Finally, what did he do? In that place, waiting for his death, greatly disturbed by bad association, taking Paramatma as his companion, subsisting on dry leaves, grass, and bushes. He is in a deer body. He is only eating dry leaves, dry grass, and some bushes, bathing in the holy water, every day taking bath rice in that holy river, and calculating how to end the cause of taking a deer body. He finally gave up the deer body. He was simply waiting for the death of the deer life. Every day he is performing severe austerities, taking multiple baths in the river, hearing the Shravanam of the sages, and circumambulating them, serving them, and like that only he passed his life there only. And eventually one day he left the deer body, and then he took the body of a Brahmana boy in the family of a Brahmanas. What did he do there, and how did he attain perfection, and all we'll see in the upcoming classes. Hare Krishna. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai.